Streamers might be stupid, but they are smarter than you. You just got clickbaited, little bro. I just want to preface this video by saying that I like a lot of these big streamers, especially like Jinxie and especially Queso. I watch Queso pretty religiously. I think he's a funny guy. I think he's a good dude. This isn't meant to be a jab at Queso or Jinxie, but more so using them as an example of how the American school system is a failure and how these guys circumvented that failure in their own way and created their own path. I'm going to start off with a story. The other day I was watching Twitch and playing RuneScape and doing some Hunter rumors. And Jinxie was doing this general knowledge quiz on stream. It's something these streamers all tend to do when they're doing like the just chatting portion of their stream. They pull up a BuzzFeed quiz or something and just do it for fun because I guess them looking stupid gets them views, which if that's your bag, then, you know, that's what you should do. And Jinxie specifically was taking this general knowledge quiz, and it came up on screen and asked him what a prime number is. If you paid attention in school, you know that a prime number is a number that is divisible by 1 and itself, and that is it. And Jinxie had no earthly idea what a prime number is. Now, some people would say on a surface level that this just makes Jinxie kind of stupid. I don't agree with that. I think he seems like a pretty intelligent dude. It more so highlights that the education system is a complete failure and does not roadmap a path for people in our generation to do well in life. Most of the people in the age group of 21 to, I don't know, 35 probably know what a prime number is, probably paid attention in school and went to college and are either unemployed trying to get a good job or have landed a decent job and are now working a job that is unentertaining, that they hate, just to get by on pennies. Jinxie said it himself on stream that early on he noticed this. He said that school is a complete waste of your time and that when he was in school, he was already thinking about being a streamer. Now, I'm obviously not saying that everyone can just go and be a streamer and make content, but he was aware of the fact that hustling is a lot better way to make money than working your 9-to-5 corporate dead-end job. And I don't think school is a waste of time. I think the pursuit of knowledge is extremely important and that learning is extremely important, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about the general failure of the American school system. America is, on average, ranked in the middle of countries when it comes to standardized testing, and I think this is just absolutely pathetic. We're the country with the highest budget for everything in the world. Where does our money go if it's not to educating the people coming after us to make our country better and keep us where we're at? 79% of US adults have medium to high English literacy skills, and English is the primary language spoken in America, meaning about roughly 21%, which is 43 million people, cannot read. And I have some friends that are teachers and they tell me about this all the time, where they'll be teaching a kid in class and they will have notes written on the board and have just gone over something and have the student look at the board, look at their notes, and then ask them in the question, and they can't read what they've written in their notes to answer the question. What happens to a society in 20 or 40 years filled with a bunch of people that can't think, can't do math, and can't read? I don't know if this is from a lack of trying to learn or if learning disabilities are more relevant. I'm sure that there's some data to be analyzed there, and I have not done that. But part of me would like to think that American kids, after, learning to walk and talk, kind of realize that all of the money doesn't come from where it used to. Used to follow the blueprint. You get in line, go to school, go to college, go to post-grad or medical school or law school or whatever, get your degree, get your job, there you go. And I'm not saying that's gone. If it wasn't, like, we would be under total societal collapse, which we aren't yet. But in general, it really, really, really has an effect on society when the people that are going out and doing backbreaking work or tedious tasks all day come home and see some goober on the internet that doesn't know what a prime number is making more in a night than they do in a year. This isn't a jab at capitalism or the system or isn't meant to be political. It's just not fair. And when things aren't fair, people tend to not work as hard, become depressed, lash out. And overall, it just makes existing harder. When you see someone that is doing something fun and awesome and making a ton of money, when you're going and looking at 20 different spreadsheets and trying not to blow your head off at work every day. Anyways, back to the original point. A lot of American kids early on just see the total uselessness of school, teaching you skills that you won't need. Why would you want to learn how to solve for X or do geometry or about Genghis Khan or English literature or vocabulary? I mean, the list just goes on, when in reality, you don't need any of those things. You have a robot on your phone that can read things for you and tell you what they mean and do all of your homework for you. And in your eyes, money comes from things like content creation and cloud on the internet. I'm not saying that all kids are like this, obviously, but I could definitely see where that viewpoint would arise in a young person's mind. I mean, we all grew up in the time when YouTube was just coming alive, and a lot of us have certainly taken a stab at content creation one time or another because A, it's fun, it gives you a chance to be creative, and it pays well. And I don't think this is entirely a bad thing. I don't think kids not paying attention is the biggest issue in the world. Kids have had trouble paying attention since the beginning of time, but it becomes a problem when they have something that can just do their work for them. I don't think it's possible to restructure the education system in mass. And I think the solution at a base level is probably just promoting the importance of pursuing knowledge. And I don't think that's really something you learn until you're older. You can tell a kid or a teenager that, hey, like, you have to keep learning. It's good for you. And they'll probably just roll their eyes and go back to watching Fortnite clips on their phone or whatever game is popular at the time. Learning is important. If you're watching this video right now and you're mad because I just called your favorite streamer every word but retarded, if I just called your favorite streamer stupid and dumb, just know that's not what I'm getting at. The point I'm trying to make is that you, the viewer, should be pursuing learning and promoting the pursuit of learning to those people around you. Things like reading and tactile hobbies, because if you promote that to the people around you, then others will want to do it and follow your example. Kids will follow your example. They will want to do hobbies on their own time because they see how it's affecting you, how healthy it is for you. They will want to do it as well, in theory. If there is another way to restructure the education system en masse, anybody has some bright ideas, be my guest and throw it out there. But with all the corruption between political parties and the fluff in the system, it's pretty hard to just say, okay, public school system, we're going to fix you. Here you go. I think it's just broken. So I want to talk a little more about why I think the pursuit of knowledge is important. The pursuit of knowledge is important for your brain. It's what's fueled humanity for years. And I know it's asinine to say that every single person should pursue the same thing, but I do think every single person should try and find something that they enjoy doing and can continue to learn about to keep their brain active. Otherwise, you just end up sitting there drooling over your phone 8 hours a day, doing absolutely nothing as life passes you by. This is just not good for humanity. It's not good for you, bro. You need to lock in. What actually happens when you don't care about learning? I, in college, was a teaching assistant. I spent a lot of time teaching other people how to code, how to think logically, and how to do, basic calculations for that, and how to just look at problems with a different lens. And I'm honestly not the best at that. I'm a pretty below average programmer, I think. There are people that can code circles around me all day, but there's a huge cheating epidemic, especially in college right now. In 2021 or 2022, whenever the first GPT model released, it was pretty weak, and using it to cheat was a coin flip. Sometimes it might give you an A+ answer, other times it would give you a 50-50 answer at best, especially with more complicated concepts. But now ChatGPT is, pretty good with the concepts they teach you in college, at least with computer science and math and stuff like that, where if you just copy and paste your question, it will just spit out code that works and will solve your rudimentary homework problem of making a calculator or reversing a string or whatever the teacher's having you do that day. People don't feel a need to challenge themselves on a daily basis, and not doing this, they grow stagnant and their brain suffers. Your brain is suffering every time you take out your phone and use it to cheat. Pretty much teaches your brain that doing anything outside of your comfort zone is painful, and there's just this easy way to get it out of the way. You don't have to think about it at all and just move on with your life. But if you live your entire life without experiencing the knowledge it provides, what exactly was the purpose? Surely the whole purpose of your existence was not to sit around and goon and scroll on TikTok and just cheat on your homework to get it out of the way and then go drink after classes are over. just like, yeah, dude, like God did not put you here to sit and scroll with drool running out of your mouth until it falls on your elbow and brings you out of this trance that you're in. Not pursuing learning and knowledge leads to a lack of challenge, and lack of challenge will lead to a lack of consistency. If you're not disciplined in overcoming challenges in your pursuits, it has the same effect. You will not challenge yourself, your brain will become comfortable and undisciplined, and then you won't do the things you need to do. What does this mean for the future? What happens to a society where 20% of the people cannot read, and the people who did poorly in school make the most money? The reward structure for school is gone. The reward structure for thinking and doing things yourself is gone. And we are here in a society where Kai Cenat, throwing his cheeks on stream in a trap house, makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And someone who is teaching or going out and doing labor or sitting in an office building writing scripts is making so much less money to these people, and they're barely scraping by. What happens when blatant corruption is visible in your everyday life, and that it is the meta for making money? Why would you want to learn? When your idols get paid way more than a traditional career to act moronic on the internet, what is the point of school? There needs to be a reward system for people who are actually maintaining our society, for the ones who break our backs every day to serve you, your food, and stock your shelves, and drive you to work, and fly your planes, and all of that stuff. And obviously, in this time, this will just never be the meta. The raising of wages is mythical, and we will never see it. And there's a couple of good arguments against raising the minimum wage, but I'm not talking about minimum wage jobs here. I'm talking about the educated, the college educated, the degree holding, the people who studied and were told that they would make a lot of money and wouldn't have to trade to do that, or work a certain number of years at a dead-end job until they got that middle management position where they could get by. So what exactly is the fix? Instead of worrying about money, which I know, as hard as it sounds, obviously you have to eat, you have to find a way to reward yourself outside of monetary value. If you tie your whole life to this little green piece of paper in your pocket, you're going to burn it away. Money burns, so does your time. The clock is ticking, little bro. You have to reward yourself. One way you can reward yourself is by learning how to relax. Relaxation is good for your brain. Hopefully it'll, slow your heart rate. You'll live a little longer. You got to learn how to just enjoy life, your free time, and be at peace. Find a way to promote that for yourself. You can reward yourself by learning. As bad as it feels at first to come home from your job and try and learn something after working for 8 or even 12 or 16 hours, spending an extra 30 minutes to give your brain some stimulation, whereas your job may be a monotonous task that you're repeating over and over again, can really make a huge improvement on your life. It's made a huge improvement for me. And finally, you can reward yourself with a little bit of forgiveness. The state of the world is not your fault. We have to find a way to remain cheerful and enjoy the world in spite of its flaws. We are born in this time where everything is unknown. I hate the word unprecedented. It's a stupid, dumb corporate buzzword. We live in unprecedented times. Okay, yeah, whatever, bro. We don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what is going on. Nobody knows how AI works. Well, some people do, but most people don't. Nobody knows why everything is so expensive, or can at least fix why everything is so expensive. Nobody can control the cost of housing. Nobody can control how much your toilet paper costs, how that $20 pack of chicken breast you had to buy at the store. You can't control it, but you can learn to enjoy it. And obviously, I'm not saying just cope, little bro, it'll get better. You should just cope your way out of inflation and a housing crisis and a job crisis and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you only get to experience it once. And if you spend all of your time with a woe is me attitude about it, you're going to get to the end of your life and you're not going to have enjoyed it at all. Just do your best. Forgive yourself. Forgive the state of the world. And don't be so miserable about it. Or just try not to. That's pretty much all I have to say about this topic. I just want to go back and say, obviously, with the streamers that I mentioned in this video, I don't have anything against them, and I'm probably subscribed to them. They noticed early on that entertaining and making content and broadcasting yourself was going to be a lot more profitable and a lot more sustainable than a job in a market that you can't control early on. And whether if that was a conscious acknowledgement or they just didn't want to pay attention in class and decided, okay, I'm going to be an entertainer. This is what I'm going to work for. That's what they did. And I don't want to bash how hard becoming an entertainer is, or how hard you have to work to become a big content creator, because it takes a ton of work, a ton of editing, networking. There's a lot of skills there that people don't realize go into content creation. It's not just turning on the computer and playing video games most days. Maybe once you've made it, you can just spark up a stream and you've got 60,000 people watching, but the 60,000 people got to come from somewhere. Thank you guys for, getting cozy and listening to me yap about the state of the world. I'm really enjoying making these videos, and I hope to make more, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. So have a cozy day, and hopefully I'll see you sometime soon. If you didn't, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good day.